Hello and welcome back to another video here on MotoGP 23, and as you'll have seen by the title and thumbnail, today we're finally trying out the flag to flag in the MotoGP class. Now of course in my career mode I have had some quick restart procedures in the Moto3 class where it's either dried up or whether it started to rain, but of course that is very different to the MotoGP class where you actually come in and change bikes rather than having the race restart, and some of you guys want to see this. And I'm actually interested in trying it out because I've not tried it out at all yet. So here we are for a 50% race at the San Marino GP. I've forced it to go from cloudy to rainy, so we are going to get a flag-to-flag event at some point during the race, although I don't know how far into the race it will be. We're here as Morbidelli as well because I thought Italian rider, Italian track, even though it's a San Marino GP, it is Misano in Italy. And the reason why I did Misano was just so it was something that wasn't coming up in career mode. It'll be interesting to see how this race goes, so without any further ado, let's get it started and see what we can do here as Morbidelli.
We're ready for action here at the Misano circuit. Eyes on the lights now. The San Marino Grand Prix is about to start.
So we've got Bezzecchi on pole position, then Bagnaia alongside Marquez rounding out the front row. So it's a bit of a surprise to see Marc Marquez right up there, but the lights are on then for this flag-to-flag race here at Misano. Lights out and away we go. A pretty good jump off the line actually, surprisingly. We go to the left hand side, or they are, go to the right, bit of a screen freeze there. We've got to be careful, there will be some frame drops in this video, I do apologise, but the MotoGP class is really poorly optimised in this game. I've heard a lot of things about the Moto2 class as well. Moto3 seems to be okay, but it does seem like the other classes are quite poorly optimised, although some people have had massive problems with Moto3 as well. Everyone's goes so slow. I've got the AI on 100, which is what I usually run in career mode. Again, I have also heard that the AI are a lot worse in the higher categories, so it's easier to win in the other classes, but I guess we'll see when we do eventually get there in career mode. But we're up to P12 already, side by side with our teammate Fabio Quartararo. We should be able to pass Binder as well, and maybe Bastianini. That's a surprise, wasn't expected to do. A lot of them, we've had contact with Bastianini, the front end was going there a little bit. I think we'd have been down. That was MotoGP 22, so I do apologise for actually having the contact, but we have made it through for now. I've just realised I've got tyre wear and fuel off, which is bizarre. Don't know why it's like that, because I put it on a 50% race. I kind of wanted tyre wear and fuel usage. But either way then, Bastianini blasts back past us on that Desmo Sedici. So back down to P9. It is the true Yamaha experience, having a Ducati blast past you on the run to Curvone. But of course, this race will all be turned up on its head, so we'll try and get as high up the grid as we can. And, well, been knocked off by Binder. I'll tell you what, since it is just a little fun video showing off the flag-to-flag stuff, we will use a rewind in this situation because that was really unfair. It's not like we actually made a mistake. We just got absolutely rammed out of the way by Binder, and it probably will happen again. Although we've got through the corner a bit better this time. But you can see the front tyre, though, took a lot of abuse there. It really heated up. One of the weirdest parts about this game, really, is how much the front tyre overheats. Does seem like the AI are speeding up a little bit, though, as they compared to what they were doing at the start of the lap, which I guess makes sense. They're always a bit slower at the start of the races. A track limits warning as well there. So we've got 13 more laps to go. We've only got 4 track limits warnings, so we do need to be careful, make sure we don't pick up any more. Oh, the front was gone there a little bit. Like I said, I'm just still trying to get to grips with the MotoGP bikes. You really can't use first gear on them. Obviously, I've done a few videos on them now, online videos, and of course, the MotoGP Academy, but most of my playtime still has been the Moto3 bikes, so it is quite a drastic change. I kind of wish I picked the hard tyre, actually, in this race, because even though it's cloudy, you can see my front tyre is really overheating. We could end up struggling quite a lot here. Obviously, we have got the advantage that it's not going to wear out, but it'll still overheat, which will make it pretty difficult to get it stopped in some of these turns. And since we're still trying to make progress, it's going to really hinder us. I may as well just keep the bike in Palmer 3, since there is no fuel to worry about. Don't like to exploit the mistake I made in setting up the race, but to be fair, most of the time in Moto3 we are literally in Palmer 3 anyway, so we may as well just stick with it in this race here. We are making some inroads on Bastianini. I don't know whether we're on course for the fastest lap or not. Bezzecchi actually retaken the lead from Bagnaia, who took it on the previous lap, so probably Bezzecchi's on course for the fastest lap. Don't know what Bastianini's just done out the last corner there, but he's given us the opportunity to get the run up towards the line. We did do the fastest lap. Up the inside we go over Nea Bastianini into turn 1. We're not pulling that one down. Not at all. He's going to try and get around the outside, but we should beat it through turn 2, hopefully. He's going to have the inside for 3. We've got to try and tip across the front of him. He's managed to get the inside. There was a lot of weight transfer on that Ducati then, I did notice, with the suspension. Almost on the green there again. We should have it on strict as well, because it should be all my settings that are running career. Actually, maybe it's not the settings I run in career mode if the tyre and fuel are off, actually. So maybe we've got it on reduced track limits, because I felt like that should have been a warning at the very least. So I do apologise, I seem to have got the settings for this race quite wrong, but I was focusing too much on the flag to flag, you see. Although, speaking of the flag to flag, we got the first few raindrops coming down now. So I wonder how long it'll be till the white flag comes out. I'll have to keep an eye on how bad it gets. Might try my luck as well, see how long we can stay out, because of course, in all the races we've done so far, they just get stopped after a certain point. But I want to see actually, you know, where is the limit of grip? There's a child limits warning, so maybe it is on strict after all, I'm not too sure, because that did feel like it was quite strict. In fairness, I wasn't even actually sure I'd gone off the track. Zarko now overtakes us though. Struggling with that front end, Zarko gets through. Brad Binder actually has a crash behind, so whether that's because of the rain or whether it's just because of the way he's taken that corner, of course we did see earlier on the way he was taking it. Some of that AI again sliding out the last corner, so we've overtaken Zarko, so they seem to have a bit of a weird slide out the last corner that just makes them go really slowly. I know there's some overtaking going on the last lap as well. I think Vinales was passing a couple of riders. Marquez dropping back through the pack. Alex Rins is actually up in third place. Didn't even realise he was up in the front group at all. So that must have been all done at the start, because I don't think he qualified up there. I know Marquez was up there from the beginning, but Alex Rins in P3 is a surprise. The rain continues to come down. The grip is still pretty similar for now, but we've been overtaken by Jean Zarco. Zarco has forced his way through. I'll say forced his way through, just rode underneath because I left him a massive gap. We are quite a way off of our previous lap times as well here, half a second. White flag has come out as we got the inside of Zarco. Oh, I've had contact. I had to pick the bike up. I'm sorry for running Zarco wide, but when you touch on the brakes like that, you've got to pick the bike up or you are going to go down. Grip does seem to have massively decreased compared to about 30 seconds ago though now. It does seem to be spinning up a lot more on the corner exit there. I don't seem to be quite as affected by it. Zarco just rides past us, although I suppose he would on a Ducati anyway. But the AI don't seem to be sliding as much as I am. I suppose I've got my traction control quite low. Although it's more spinning up the rear rather than actually the rear braking traction sliding out from underneath me. Although that's 2 corners in a row, it has done that now. Since we can change bikes, it'll be interesting to see will any of the AI come in on this first lap. Seems like they're all going in. They're absolutely all going in then on that lap. So I'll tell you what, we'll stay out one more. See how that goes. I want to maybe go in with some AI though, because it'd be nice to see what the AI look like going in there. But I want to stay out. We can say we've led the race now as Morbidelli. And so far, like I said, the grip is getting a little bit worse, but it's still okay for now. Still okay. The tyre temps are still there, which I think is the most important thing. As long as the tyre temps are still there, the grip will be somewhat decent. Although you can see we are almost half a second down on our previous best tyre through this sector. It's worth keeping an eye on the gap behind. Miller's in P3. But I'm sure Miller was in front of us on track, wasn't he? So has Miller already come in the pits and then actually got back up into third? Because I'm sure Miller was near the front of the field. Maybe not. Maybe we did overtake him. I'm not sure. I thought he started up towards the front. He's been overtaken by Raul Fernandez now, so he definitely can't be on the right tyre. But I would say now we definitely do need to change because the bike is spinning so much. It was spinning a bit on the last lap around this part of the track, but now it's really bad. You can see we're about 3 seconds off, so we definitely made the mistake by staying out an extra lap too long. Although in the grand scheme of things, 3 seconds isn't too long. We lost a little bit of time here to Paul Espargaro, but not too much actually. We're losing a lot now, so we are to go dive into the pits now. I believe we have to slow down for the line as well to make sure we're at a fair speed. So, yep, a regular entry into the pits. So we've actually got a long lap penalty, so it's not exactly gone to plan. It's put us into first person camera as well. Oh, now we're on to a cinematic by the looks of it. This is basically the first time I'm seeing any of this kind of stuff because I didn't even watch any videos of it when the game first came out, so this is pretty much the first time. I don't know why it's taking so long to get on the bike. I guess it's because the other riders were coming through. I thought maybe you could just slot into the sort of file alongside them, but yeah, I guess they would just cut across you when they're going into their box. So yeah, fair thing. Yamaha have been fair and made us wait there. You can see the other AI are coming around the last corner. Now, the thing at Misano is the pit lane is really, really long. It's going to keep going for a bit longer. So even though it looked like we're perhaps going to rejoin in front of them, it's going to take a while. It should be just after this little grid section here, I think, that we have control again. No, we're still on autopilot, but we're now not in first person anymore. Although it actually looks like we made a good call, because we're up to P3. So we've actually gained in that flag-to-flag period, somehow, even though we were massively off our previous lap time, we've actually gained a load of positions. We're up onto the podium. And Bezecchi and Bagnaia, oh, we've just completely clattered into Bezecchi. Sorry, Bezecchi, I don't know what I did there. They just seem to be going really slow. I was just trying to take like sort of a bit of a tighter line on them. But it actually seems like they're struggling here, which is very bizarre because usually the AI are overpowered in the rain. Although, speaking of struggling, that's me making a pretty big mistake. We're going to see if we can try and take the lead back from Bagnaia here. I know I've got a long lap to serve, but I'll probably do it at the latest point I can, to be fair. I don't know what Bagnaia is doing. He's gone on the curbs. Maybe that's why they're running so slowly. Maybe they're not actually on the correct wet lines yet because it's not wet enough. But here we go. Then we've got the run on Pekka Bagnaia down towards Corvona in the rain. Oh, the inside, a little bit of contact. But again, the AI just tipping on you like you're not there. He could have picked the bike up. And he just got the underneath again. But I tell you what, I reckon we gained the time, not from the actual being on track, but probably how long they had to wait. If the whole field went in at the same time, they probably all had to wait for each other, you see, coming out of the pits. Oh, that was close again with Bagnaia. And now we've got Bezzecchi involved, so it does seem like the AI's pace is increasing, but through the last corner, back up the inside, we go a little bit of a stutter as well. Again, I do apologise, but it just is the MotoGP class in this game. It's pretty unoptimised. But we are into the lead then, so in the wet period, we've actually taken the lead. I'm quite surprised, because we had a bad inlet, like I said, and usually the AI have a massive advantage in the rain, but we've actually had a battle with the AI, taken the lead, and checked out very slightly, although I imagine they will come back to us very, very quickly. But I think we must have just benefited from the fact that the leader AI would have got to their pit boxes, changed bikes, and had to wait for all the slow AI that were further down the pit lane to get through. Martin tries to get the inside, so we've now got 3 Ducatis trying to pass us for the lead here. It seems like maybe it's just Bagnaia that is struggling in these conditions a little bit and maybe backing up the pack. But I'll tell you what, I didn't expect it to play out like this, especially when I'd lost all that time on the outlap, or on the in-lap, sorry. But we have got a long lap penalty to serve, so I think I will take it on this lap. We'll just try and get it out of the way. So there we are into the long lap penalty lane. I don't know if I've got a bit too quick into there, but I think we've just about kept it around the long lap. Here we go, coming out. So we served it. We've got we got an achievement for serving the long lap penalty. It's the first long lap we've had in the game, and we're up into P5 again already. So to be fair, we only lost a couple of positions for that. We lost 4 places. So we've got Rins now attacking us into turn 13. The AI probably will attack me down towards Caro, because we did see they were taking some strange lines earlier when Binder obviously knocked us off. So we're making quite a few mistakes here. I suppose we are going to, because it is the wet conditions and it is the AI. They still probably do have an advantage. It's just we're kind of trying to muscle it around. And we're going on the inside of Rins into the last corner. To be fair, we're probably just exploiting where they're a little bit weak. And Marini seems to have a pretty bad run at the last corner, so we're just going to blast past Marini up into P4. We could still win this race, guys. There's 5 laps to go. Of course, we've just served a long lap penalty, and we're still right in touch with them as well, really. Oh, Marini! He's trying to come back up the inside of us through Rio. We had a little bit of contact with him there. And the bike is sliding all over the place. Marini comes through. I think I need to turn the traction control up to 3. Just to try and get a bit more traction in these wet conditions. But we drop back down to 5th place then. So it does seem to me like maybe we are just going to slowly drop back through the pack. We've now got Polo Spagro just ramming us out of the way. So yeah, Vinales just sneaks past us there as well. But I was about to say, as it gets wetter, it seems like the AI have more of an advantage. So that does give us a bit of an insight into how the AI's advantage does work. It's just as the water level increases, the grip level obviously decreases for the player because there's so much more water to spin up on. But for the AI, it just doesn't happen. So maybe it's not really the fact that they're just overpowered in the rain. It's just that in heavy rain, like when there's a lot of water, they're quite overpowered. You can see they're just riding past me like I'm standing still now. And we're hitting into the side of Raul Fernandez and Enea Bastianini. I really do apologise. The riding's not been the cleanest in this one. But in the wet conditions, it's just difficult because the bike just slides out from underneath you constantly. You can't put it where you want. And that's hard enough to do at the best of times in milestone games, to be honest. You feel a bit of a disconnect from the bike. But with the laps dwindling, I think our positions are going to follow. Zarco bashes out the way. We've lost a couple of positions. Rins now goes around the outside. So Rins, who was up on the podium at one point, drops back down. So Rins perhaps struggling in the rain just like myself. We've got Augusto Fernandez. Then Marc Marquez behind. Marc Marquez started on the front row and was running in the top 3. So a lot of the podium runners here dropping back through the pack. Look at the inside of Rins we go. So on the brakes we still have that advantage. We're closing up to Raul Fernandez in front, almost hitting him, trying to pick up the power. I've had contact with Rins now, but it's the drag race down towards Tremonto. I do like my chances of that one, although to be fair, he has just completely rode past us virtually, and I've now gone in hot into Tremonto as well. It is just so difficult to ride in the wet compared to AI on this game. So just been overtaken by Augusto. Now here comes Jack Miller, on the frame rate has just completely tanked as well on this straight, which again I do apologise for. Oh, Miller's just bashed me out the way on the way into Rio. Allowing Augusto Fernandez through, and Marc Marquez sneaks through as well. Augusto a little bit wide. And we've got Miguel Oliveira behind us. Oh, again the bike snaps as we try and get on the power. I'm going to go to traction control 4 now. Maybe I could turn the power mode down as well, but I just feel like we'll lose even more lap time compared to them. We should be able to get Augusto back, even Jack Miller as well by the looks of it. Maybe Marc Marquez. We're probably just going to run out of time. Yeah, I've just bashed him out the way. Instead of run out of time, I meant run out of space. We have just hit him again, so again I do apologise. Just trying to actually just keep control of the bike in these wet conditions when the bike is sliding the way it is. And with the AI as well, the problem is I only wanted to outbrake Augusto Fernandez there, but I outbraked them so much that I hit Marc Marquez, and I don't know what that exit was. We lost so much time there, so much wheel spin, I ended up on the grass. And now we're down behind Aleix Espargaro. We've got Alex Marquez behind us, Jean Mir, and then it must be Brad Binder behind them, because of course we saw him crash. But I'd be surprised if we don't finish dead last now, because you can see they are just riding away from us, notwithstanding still. It's something that's been a problem for many years, but Milestone just refused to fix. The AI is having so much more grip than the player in the wet conditions. Because, I mean, you saw in the dry, I was fighting for the win. And I'm not that bad in the wet. I know I've made a few mistakes, but it is just because the bike slides uncontrollably, whereas you can see for the AI it just does not happen. They were sliding more in the dry than in the wet, which is the funny part. Well, Alex Marquez just gets us there through Tremonti, although he's got the bad exit this time. But yeah, nothing I can do. The bike is just spinning up completely. And he just rides away from me. We've got Mir right behind us as well. And then literally behind us it is Brad Binder, of course, crashed early on. Mir comes in the inside again through the fast right, so stuffed it back up the inside of Mir there, but he's going to get the cut back, although he's gone on the curb. That's costing him, a bit like what Bagnaia did earlier on when we were battling him for the lead. I'm actually surprised that Bagnaia has held on to second place, because it looked like he was definitely struggling more than the rest of AI. And Mir's just punted us there. I mean, I know it was a minor touch, but in the wet again, just because the bike then breaks traction, you completely go off. And it looks like we're going to get our second long lap penalty of the race if we're not careful, but there is only 2 laps to go, so we've just got to hold on. But here we are then, through the final corner, up towards the line. It's going to be 21st place here for Franco Morbidelli, but quite a fun experience in the flag-to-flag nonetheless. So a bit of a tough one there. It was kind of what I expected. I thought we would struggle a little bit in the wet, because I set the AI for the dry, to be quite honest, and actually they probably were a little bit low for the dry. I set them on 100, which is what I've been using in career mode. But when we got to the wet conditions, the difficulty was then too high, so it is quite tricky. I was kind of hoping that maybe it would just rain towards the end and we'd just have to swap for a couple of laps, but obviously we had to do most of the race in the wet conditions, which did hamper us quite a lot. But there you go, guys. That is the flag to flag. I was actually quite interested to check it out myself, to be quite honest, because obviously I hadn't before. Some of you guys have been asking for it as well, and I did promise that I'd bring it like a couple of weeks ago, so I do apologise for that one. But I hope you guys did enjoy that one. If you are new to the channel, please do like the video and subscribe, because you'll be getting plenty more MotoGP 23 game content, career mode mainly, but then also some other stuff, online videos, game experiments at some point with mods as well, when I get round to doing some of those. If you have any ideas for those as well, let me know in the comments below. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.